Hey, I know I haven't posted in a while. I'm not done working on this. We've run across some budgetary issues, but I recently took a job. I haven't worked in 16 months now. I recently took a job, full-time job, regular old 9 to 5 type situation. So the money will be coming in to be able to put into this. So until that happens, I won't be able to start that until around Halloween. But in the meantime, we can start figuring out our wiring diagram because I know how these circuits are powered now. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go inside, which I hate to do because it's a waste of a beautiful day. It's like 77 degrees here. I'm in the shade. I would love to come out here and wrench on this thing right now because the weather's so lovely, but I don't have anything to put on it or to take off of it of any consequence. I could do headlights, but the way the headlights mount, the way the new headlights are going to mount, I would have to take them all back off anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to go inside. We're going to start looking at some different diagrams. I'm going to show you here what my different diagrams are. I've got this one that's from a forum on Facebook, and I've got this one. You've seen it before. It's my handwritten one for the pinout for the plugs that come out of the multifunction switch on the steering column. And then it seems like there's one more. Oh, I just got some comments on Facebook that tell me what the different pins in that first diagram mean. So, without further ado, here we go. All right, so you might can see it on the screen. I've got the that colorful wiring harness that I showed you a minute ago. So this is something that was done by a gentleman named Chris, and he was kind enough to post it to a forum in Facebook for all to use. And it is, as you might have read, a customized wiring harness diagram for an 86 to 88 Suzuki Samurai that has had the ECU deleted. So I don't want to say that's essentially what we're doing, because we're going to a micro squirt, but it's going to wire entirely different than a regular Samurai ECU would wire. So I'm just going to put my head down and try and make sense of some of this stuff. I got to fix the verbiage that I've used for some of these pins, and we're going to go from there. So just bear with me. Alright, so what I did is I went in here and I changed everything on this little handwritten diagram. I changed it from I changed the ones that said power to an item to ground from the accessory that it runs, because what happens is power goes from the battery to the distribution block, from the distribution block to, say, the horn, and then power comes through the horn up a ground wire and hooks in to pin number 10 right here. Now, there is a break between where this wire comes in and ground, and when you press the horn button on the steering wheel, it makes that ground and the horn sounds. So the same thing with like the headlights. Power comes from the battery to the distribution block to the center post on the headlights. If you have the switch in the off position on the steering column, then the power just stops at the headlight and there's no ground. But I got it. Constant power from the battery to the distribution block to the center post on the headlight, and then it's traveling up the high beam and the low beam side to these two pins right here. Right here. So pins 8 and 9. So if I have the switch turned to the off position, no ground is made, and so the lights will not come on. However, when I turn on, just roll the switch forward, click, click, the dim lights make ground and the dim headlights will come on. When I push the stick forward, it swaps from dim lights to bright lights. So instead of making the ground on one side of the headlight connector, when I push it forward, it stops making that ground and starts making the ground for the high beams. And then I can turn the switch, click, click, back to the off position, and then nothing is making ground anymore and the headlights turn off. I knew I was onto it. So I need to see what color wiring I do have. Luckily, I have it all right here. Made in China. Got this on Amazon for like 20 bucks. It's 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 rolls, 25 feet long, 16 gauge. And it's all different colors. So this should be all the wiring I need to make the harness that is not the micro squirt harness. And I'm gonna reference the Suzuki color coding to correspond with these colors. So that I can properly tell what's going on. I still have to order Deutsch style connectors, my solid pins, and my the convoluted tubing I'm going to put around these. I've got plenty of electrical tape where I can string them together, but as soon as I get those three things, I can start making this harness. So what I've done is I have taken these plugs, copied the way that I'm numbering them and the Suzuki color codes onto here, more compact, and I'm going to use this grid to kind of help me lay out my my wiring. Of course, this isn't going to reflect how it's shaped in the vehicle, but this will reflect how it is shaped as far as where the power goes. Alright, what I have found is that we're going to break this down into a few different harnesses, and that's going to make it easier for me down the road to replace, repair, and upgrade harnesses rather than taking the whole thing out. So, what we're going to focus on today is just the combination switch plug and the windshield wiper plug. I think I am going to add a small distribution block for the parking lights because, let's see, the ground from the lights goes into there. Yeah, so what it is the parking lights are powered. What it looks like is one side of the parking lights is powered by one circuit and the other side is powered by another circuit, but they're activated by the same ground. That's what it looks like is going on. So that's how we're going to draw it up. So I'm going to use a little four-way distribution block for that. Upon closer inspection, it looks like I'm going to have to integrate the lighting for the gauge cluster into these circuits. I can do the overhead lamp on its own. Alternator is going to be a one wire, so this is irrelevant. Using a distributor on this application, so that part's irrelevant. I will be using a bunch of the OEM sensors that are on the engine. Door warning buzzers going away. The clutch switch is already gone. We're going to circle back to this. It might be today, it might be tomorrow, it might be next week, but for you, it'll be just a couple of seconds. Okay, it's the next day. I have 3 diagrams pulled up on the computer. I think I might have it figured out. So, come through here. I wish I knew where my erasers were. I've got, like, regular pink erasers. I have them somewhere. Yes, I'm in sweatpants and a superhero t-shirt. It's Sunday, it's after church, we're taking it easy. And I'm looking for my pink erasers. It took me some searching, but I found it. Okay. So what I think takes place for the parking lights, because you power this pin with the parking switch to the parking position, these 2 pins get powered. So when you turn that switch on, that makes the ground. So instead of this, we're going to we're going with all LEDs anyway, so we can get rid of that distribution block. We'll reposition all these. I imagine this is shaking you guys like crazy. Yeah. One day I'll have a nice camera set up. Okay, I wonder if I'm just thinking of this wrong. Like this isn't. I wonder if that column is grounded like that. So the way I thought it was I thought maybe power came into here, but I don't think that's it. So power goes from the distribution block to the headlights and then branches out both wires to the terminals for the high and the low beams. However, neither one will turn on until you turn the switch to turn on the low or the high beams. If you have the switch in the off position, nothing happens. But I'm wondering if when you turn the switch on low, power comes in, it goes through here, comes to this, and I'm wondering if this plug, because this plug comes out of the combination switch on the steering column, if that's the ground that it's making. And that's why I have it written down for ground. And if this just goes to ground, like that. Turn signals and hazards are going to be a little bit more complicated because I'm going to have to put in relays, flashers. I'm gonna go look at the harness real quick, the big harness. Okay, so I was looking at this and looking at it, and I'm like, man, something's not right. So this plug reflects the combination switch side of the plug. And every one of these that is not this number 4, this black, this does not have a pin, because this is where the little clippy goes that clips the two plugs together. Every one of them has a contact. But on the chassis side, this pin, so number 4, number 11, and number 12 are not there. There's no wires, there's no pin, no nothing. So I'm thinking that this number 13 is all we need to run these parking lights. And I mean, the wire's there for the for this other output. I could totally add something, and I might. But this, I don't know what to do about this ground. I'm racking my brain. So I'm gonna ponder a while. And then I'll get back to you when I've pondered. Okay, we're just gonna trudge on. I have lots of graphing paper, so if I make a mistake, we'll just fix it. What I'm tempted to do is go ahead and buy the distribution block I'm gonna use and the appropriate fuses and a bunch of little bitty LED lights and just hook it up. Hook everything up to this and then just see what happens when I start twisting switches and turning knobs and stuff. Just see which bulbs light up. Because this one is going to be a little more complicated. There's less pins, but all 6 are full. And this is the windshield wiper pin. And so, like, some of this stuff is contingent on other stuff going. So, like, this pin here is, well, I don't know if you can see this. Hang on. Let's see if you can see this. Yeah, you can see that. This pin here is the wiper's low speed. This is the wiper's high speed. This is the squirters, windshield squirters. Allegedly, the power for these 2 pins come from here. So if this is getting power, this won't just work. One of these has to be on for this to work. So the wipers have to be going before the squirters will go. You can't just hit the squirters and they work, to my knowledge. And I think it knows that because when you turn the wipers off, this pin gets powered. And I think that's telling this pin not to squirt. And then this is a ground. So I'm gonna have to figure out just exactly Where'd that go? I think it literally just goes to ground. Like I just found a chassis ground for that, so I don't know. But we're just gonna keep on trucking. And if we mess it up, we'll fix it. If you see something wrong, let me know and I'll fix it right now. I came back, but I forgot to start recording. All I did was draw in the lines to these LED flashers. I moved them, I had them drawn here, and I put them down here because I got the turn signals down here. So I'm gonna have one relay, power one side, and one relay, power the other side. I can totally see myself needing to redraw this. I might try to do something. I don't know if you can see that on this computer screen. I might try to draw up something like this. Just kind of put the components where they go, and then make my schematic accordingly. Listen to my rinky-dink tripod. But at least I have a tripod. Alright, so power coming from distribution to the LED flashers to the turn signals. And all I have to do is make ground. I'm having some serious trouble because I've got 3 different schematics pulled up on my computer, and I had somebody send me a piece of another one, and it's different from the 3 that I have. And this is different from all 4 of those. So I am doing my very best to try and figure out what I have, which is proving to be difficult. So what I did is I came out here and I looked at all these wires again on these 2 plugs, and I wrote down here, I'll show you what I did. Look right here, I crossed out the Y for yellow and wrote in a G for green, because that could very well be a blue wire, the green tracer. Right here, I crossed out the Y for yellow and put in a W for white, because that wire could very well be red with a white tracer. And then right here, I scratched out Y for yellow and put in white, W for white, because it very well could be a blue wire with a white tracer. That's the only ones I really had trouble with. It's very old wiring. It's very faded. in places. It's hard to tell. This one, this is the one right here that could either be blue with a green or blue with a yellow tracer. So I'm gonna go back and compare it to what I have in my 91 to 94 wiring schematic stuff, and try and figure out if I'm any closer now than I was, because I am banging my head against the wall trying to figure this stuff out. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but you know, thanks for keeping up with me thus far. I appreciate you guys. So we're gonna get back to it. So it's been a hectic couple of days. I told you it might be a few days. It's been a few days. But this is what, here, I'll spin you around. So I got this schematic from a gentleman on Facebook who had done a ECU delete on an early Samurai. And I have since deleted a bunch of stuff and added a bunch of stuff and took a bunch of wires out. I did things like added an extra door switch. I went ahead and put the ignition coil in with the, you can't see it because it's so small, but with the 4 different colors of wires that come out of the specific one that I'm using. I might have to do something about the alternator because it's a 1 wire. I am having to add a crank position sensor because this is for a carbureted, the original version of this is for a carbureted Samurai engine, and this, my vehicle is getting a micro squirt, so adding a crank position sensor, but I don't have the micro squirt on this yet to finish this diagram. Added little things like a USB charger there. Everything else I pretty much left the same, but I cleaned it up really nice. So that's what I've gotten done. I can't really go any further on this until I have the diagram for the micro squirt, which I might can get online, but I'm gonna have to do some more digging. So I'm gonna do that. And once I get done doing that, I will be able to, I guess, put the part 2 of this up. And by the time I have that, maybe I'll have the ECU as well. I don't know. I start my new job in like 3 weeks, but I don't get paid till like the middle of November for my first paycheck. So we'll find out. We're just gonna have to play it by ear, and you'll just have to bear with me. I'm sorry I'm so sporadic on videos. It was like a video per week, and now it's like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks apart. I'm sorry. I'm trying. Bear with me, and thank you, and thanks for watching.